This week, all of the eyes, all of the tech eyes around the world have been on Apple. We have been looking at Apple, waiting to see what they were going to deliver with iPhone 15 and the Wonderlust event in general. And it was really weird. Building up to the event, I was flat, I suppose. I was apathetic. I couldn't get excited. We all kind of knew what was coming, and there didn't seem to be that much to get excited about, but I wanted to be excited. I've been an Apple fan for years and years and years. I've got so many Macs around me. I've had so many iPhones. Clearly, I've invested into the Apple ecosystem, into the Apple world, and I want them to do what they do best. I want them to be creative and innovative. I want them to deliver the products that I know that they're capable of, and also with that level of excitement that we know they're capable of. And just recently, it all seems to have fallen a little bit flat. Now, Apple are the masters of PR. Their campaigns are amazing, their adverts are stunning, and as for the events now, they are just gorgeous. The production, the lighting, the transitions, they're like a movie in themselves. They're as if they've been taken from a pilot series on Apple TV. They are beautiful, but they're just lacking something. I'll get onto this particular event a little bit later on, but I wanted to chat with you and see if you agree with me that part of the reason that maybe I felt flat and maybe you felt flat as well running up to the event was because we know so much. And that's partly our fault. Our thirst and our lust and craving to find out any little nuggets of news about Apple and the devices that are coming up have led to this massive ecosystem of creators, content creators, that fill all of their pages, all of their videos, all of their blogs with leaks. And because of that, we know maybe a year in advance in some instances, and certainly in the months and weeks leading up to any big event, we get to know pretty much everything that we need to know about these products. But do we? Now, I'm sure these rumor sites are fantastic and have their place, and many, many, many hundreds of thousands of people watch a video, so there's clearly a place for them. But that must be part of the reason why I and others felt so flat coming into this event. But I've got a theory. As good as these leakers are, and I'll be naming some in just a moment, but as good as these leakers are, Apple are always one step ahead. The leakers like to think they're getting nuggets of information that nobody else knows, but in all honesty, Apple are leading the dance. And there's proof to that. I can give you absolute proof to that. If we go back 1 year to the iPhone 14 event last year, none of the leakers, none of them, not one, had any mention of Dynamic Island. Apple kept that perfectly under lock and key. Earlier this year, Apple Vision Pro, nobody got that name. The amount of videos, I made loads of videos about it, but the amount of videos that were made by leak sites and rumor sites, and nobody got that Apple Vision Pro name. Now, imagine how many thousands of people had been involved in the development of that product over the 10, 12, 15 years that had been in the making, and we knew nothing about it. We didn't know the name. We certainly didn't know what it looked like. We had a little bit of an idea about functionality. And I'll get onto the leaks from this event a little bit later on. But that's the point I'm making. Apple will always just release subtly through their chain of command. They will let us have enough information to whet our appetites. They'll let it filter out. People will think that it's rumors. People will think they've got a scoop. But in actual fact, it's what Apple is letting out. And why wouldn't they do it? Why wouldn't Apple let that kind of information out? It's an absolute win-win for them. They let these little nuggets float out into the ether. They get free publicity for it. People like me and the rumor sites and leaker sites for sure sit making videos, giving Apple free promotion. And what has Apple got to lose? They get out into the public domain what they want people to know. They're so clever. And I'm surprised that nobody's been ahead of this and seen what's going on. When people, and I'm talking about John Prosser, Sam Kohl, I love Sam Kohl and John, but Sam I've had on my Minus 16 podcast about a year ago. He's a brilliant guy, funny, witty, intelligent, really good at his job. But the day before this event, he put up a video stating that we were definitely getting a periscope lens. And of course, we didn't. But he's not alone in that. As I say, there was John, there was Sam, I, Justine, Brian, Tong. you name it. Mark Gurman, the king of all knowledge of everything to do with Apple, he told us we were getting a periscope camera on the 15 Pro Max, and we didn't. This is the point. Apple can sit back and smile. They can let out, oh, there's a little rumor about a camera, and they'll watch the leaks go mad and the rumors go mad while they sit back and just bide their time, knowing they're getting all of this free publicity. It's a very, very clever game that they play, and nothing will convince me that Apple are not in control of exactly what's going on. Now, when it comes to iPhone, that's much harder to control, of course. The event we've just had predominantly was the iPhone event of the year. We know we get it every September, normally the first or second week of September. It's much harder for Apple to keep in control of that because they send out CAD files, and from those CAD files, dummies are made of the new phone that's going to be coming out during the fall. They need to do that to make sure that the third-party case manufacturers around the world can be ready with all the cases. For supply and demand reasons, they're ready on the day of launch. So next Friday, on the 22nd of September, when the new iPhone 15 comes out, there'll be plenty of choices for you to make if you want to buy a case to go on your phone. But because they send those CAD files out, and because those dummies are made, of course, those dummies find their way into the erroneous hands of us here on YouTube. They are shown on videos. They're touted as being an exclusive. They're really not. They're a practical dummy that's made for a reason so that the cases can be made ahead of the release. And of course, those dummies that we see have to be millimeter perfect. Those cases have got to fit. They've got to line up with all the buttons. They've got to fit exactly the dimensions of the phone. So when we see those dummies, we know what we're getting. We knew what we were getting with iPhone 15 in the shape and dimensions, at least, if not the feel and weight, weeks and weeks and weeks ago. And I know it's got its place. I know it has its reasons, but it is a shame because we just know ahead. It's like having Christmas Day ruined every time. We know what we're getting, and there's so precious few secrets or surprises that can come that it just has to lead to that feeling of being let down. And Apple, I'm sure, don't mind it, again, because it's free publicity. And let's face it, it's not as if the basic style and design of the phone is going to change that much year on year. So again, for Apple, it's fantastic news because they get free publicity out of it. For us, I guess it's practical. And it's the lesser of all the points I wanted to make, but it's just another example of the fact that Apple know exactly what they're doing. And I'm sure if they only wanted to have their own cases available on release day and keep those CAD files in-house and not distribute them out into the world, where they know once they're in third-party hands, it's easy for them to be distributed and leaked, they could do it. They know exactly what they're doing. And I just wanted to ask your help as well, or ask for your help as well. I'm a small channel. I'm growing at the moment. It's going quite well, but it's expensive running a channel like this. I've just ordered today, I've pre-ordered the iPhone 15 Pro Max. It'll be with me on release day. I'm not going to make a rush video on it on release day. A, it will get lost, and B, I want to give you an honest opinion. I want to spend some time with it. I want to actually get hands-on with it and see how it works. But I have ordered one. Now, these phones don't come cheap, and you can help me simply by subscribing, liking, and sharing. If you're enjoying this video and the other videos that I've been making recently and you're getting good value out of them, then just help me out that little bit by subscribing. And if you're feeling super generous, you can even leave me a big super thanks as well. It would all go back into the channel. I just want to keep getting more and more kit to review for you, but I kind of need your help to make that happen. And by the way, I have been hit by the invalid traffic bug as well. So whatever little revenue I was making for the moment has kindly been taken away from me. I'm no wiser than you as to why that would be. But anyway, I've been hit by the invalid traffic bug that you dare say heard all about. I'm not going to go into it now, but I just need your help to keep making this channel grow. The more that you can share it out and more people get to see it, the more YouTube will put it out in front of new faces and just help the channel grow. So if you're enjoying it, do what you can just to help the channel out. Right, let's get back to the event of this week then, Wonderlust. Now, Wonderlust. Wonderful, it wasn't, in my opinion. I'm not coming down on it. Let me just come back to the fact I love Apple. I've just ordered the new iPhone 15 Pro Max. So clearly I like the product. Clearly I like the gear. But this event was odd. For starters, the opening sequence, which must have gone for 5-6 minutes, however long it went on for too long. And it kind of left me with the opinion that if you were rich enough, you could buy yourself help it might be an odd take, but basically, I'm sure you saw the beginning of the event, and it was saying that if you had an iPhone or if you had an Apple Watch, that it could save your life. But of course, you've got to have $400 for an Apple Watch, $800 for a Watch Ultra, or maybe $1,000 for an iPhone 15 to fall into that category of who can be helped. But aside from the tastefulness or otherwise of that first sequence, it was just too long. And there was a theme running through that carried on a little bit later on of self-indulgence. We were 30 minutes in to the event with only one product discussed, and that was the Apple Watch 9. And it wasn't really that much new on Apple Watch 9. They went on about that new pinch feature. In actual fact, that's been on your Apple Watch for ages and ages and ages under accessibility. And I made a short about that the other day. So if you were thinking about buying a Series 9 watch just for that pinch gesture, don't. You've already got it. It's already there. And I explained in the short how you can use it. But in that first half an hour, we had that weird sequence with Octavia Spencer and Tim Cook in the boardroom, with Octavia playing Mother Nature. I don't really know the point they were trying to prove, but it didn't fit in with an Apple event. And again, it was really self-indulgent. It was because they could do it, they did do it. It didn't fit in. It was a bit of a car crash when it suddenly stopped. It was a mini program within a program. It was just odd from start to finish. I don't know what it was there for. To this day, I'm none the wiser. This is the day after the event I'm recording this video, and I really don't know what that was about. The other drum that they kept on beating through the course of the event was the environmental drum as well. Now, look, it's very plausible what Apple are doing, trying to be carbon neutral by 2030. I understand that they've got a massive and a big responsibility environmentally in what they're doing. The amount of product they produce makes a big difference to the world, let's face it. So yeah, I get that, and I take my hat off to them for what they're trying to do. But did we really need the environmental stance pushed down our throats virtually every 5 or 10 minutes? I mean, there's that massive chunk with that mini movie with Octavia Spencer. But then with every product, they went on about even one of the bands for the watch being carbon neutral. I get it. You're making big strides, but just put a footnote at the bottom of your website. Put up something on the Apple channel during the course of the year. Send out a press release, whatever. It doesn't need to have so much attention drawn to it during the event. And it was 40 minutes in before we got to iPhone 15. And not only iPhone 15, but also to AirPods Pro 2. Now, we've been wondering how they were going to address or dance around the whole USB-C thing. And to be honest, let's be honest with you, they did it exactly how I thought. It was very muted and very quiet. Timing was everything. They came out a little bit early with USB-C, because if they'd waited until the last moment, then they would have looked like they'd been forced into it by EU regulations. By doing it just that little bit earlier than they had to do it, it looked like Apple had chosen to go that route. And that was one of the big players in this year's event. But I'm going to come on to the mistake about it in just a moment. But equally with AirPods Pro 2. Now, at the event, if you were lucky enough to be at the event, AirPods were actually given their own 30-minute section of stage time, of a speech afterwards, where you go and sort of get hands-on, which led us to think there was going to be something exciting coming out. But all it was the fact that they put a USB-C port on the AirPods Pro 2 case. There's no changes at all to AirPods Pro 2, and why would there be? They were great when they came out, and they're still great now. I use them virtually every day. So the only change was to the port, and the only real mention they made during the 15 and 15 Plus part of the video about USB-C was that you can now charge your AirPods up from your phone with the C-to-C cable. That was it. Then they moved on. And there wasn't that much sparkling new about the 15 and 15 Plus. They get the cameras basically from the 14 Pro, so better sensors, better cameras. Of course, there is improvements, but they were reasonably iterative. If only I could say it. They were reasonably small and iterative is the word I was trying to say, changes. But there was nothing that exciting about it, and it showed in the event. And that's what I mean. The whole event just felt a little bit muted and a little bit staid and a little bit as if they weren't excited about it, to be honest. And then I want to get onto the mistakes. Again, back to the leakers. Now, I mentioned that the day before, Sam had put up a video saying that we were definitely going to get... I'm not coming down hard on Sam at all to say I like the guy. I was lucky enough to chat with the guy, and he's really good at what he does. But he was just somebody that I happened to see. And he said that we were definitely getting the periscope camera, which of course we didn't. But it wasn't only the periscope lens or periscope camera we got wrong, because we ended up with this kind of 5 times telephoto lens instead, which again isn't as good as everyone was hoping. The name of the chip, nobody got that right. Everybody had been saying A17 Bionic, that's what we're expecting, and yet it's called A17 Pro. I know it's only a fairly small change and a fairly minor difference, but again, it's one of those details that if these leakers were as good as they say they are, they would have got that right. And the Thunderbolt ports on the 15 Pro and Pro Max, everybody was saying that they were going to be Thunderbolt 4 speeds, and of course they're not. They are Thunderbolt 3 speeds. So we're not getting a 40 gigabits per second. We're getting whatever Thunderbolt 3 speeds are, 20 gigs per second. Don't quote me, but it's not the Thunderbolt 4 speeds that we thought we were getting. Okay, the one clever caveat they've done is to enable us to record directly from our iPhones onto an external drive. So that should help getting those large ProRes files, which to be honest at the moment are virtually unusable, off the iPhone and actually onto your Mac to start editing with. And that's one of the things I'll be looking at in depth when I get my 15 Pro Max. When I bought the 14 Pro that this is being recorded on at the moment as the B-roll, then one of the things I was going to do with it was shoot all of these videos in ProRes on it. They were just too big. You waited forever to get them off the phone. The only way I found was to use the lightning cable and then open up image capture on the Mac, and eventually I could get the files down that way. But when you're talking maybe of a 30, 40 minute ProRes video file, they could easily be 60, 70 gigs, and they just took forever to get off the phone. So it was rendered unusable. In fact, I took a minute video in ProRes yesterday, and I think that 1 minute was about a gig, 1.5 gigs. They are huge. So maybe they've helped us with that now. But my point being, again, that the leakers who were telling us they knew everything that was coming, without a shadow of a doubt, they got the name of the chip wrong, they got the port wrong, and they got the camera wrong, because Apple didn't want them to know. They let out a few little secrets, a few nuggets out into the world early on in the chain, in the supply chain and development, and we're just sitting back at Cupertino smiling. I bet you they were. Nothing will convince me otherwise that Apple were not in control totally of what information we knew that we were going to be getting. And don't get me wrong, I'm looking forward to get my 15 Pro Max. I really am. I've used the 14 Pro for the last year. I wanted the Pro Max this year. I've got on order the 256 gig in the titanium color, and there will definitely be videos coming on it to show you how I'm going, particularly from a video and camera point of view and transferring the files. I just want to spend time on it. So again, I've invested in it. I have bought it. But this event, I don't know if you're like me, but this event didn't have anything that really got me excited. I think Apple felt fairly muted about it. I wanted something really exciting, like reverse charging, perhaps, rather than the C2C charging we've got. Reverse charging would have been fantastic. Maybe super fast charging would have been another great thing that I could have, yeah, they've done something new, they've done something different. I just wanted, but AirPods Max, for instance, if they brought out AirPods Max with USB-C and maybe a new audio codec, that's what Apple do best. They're innovative, they're exciting, they're creative, and that's what they've got to do, and that's what they failed to do. Now, I know you could turn around and say to me, it was only a few months ago that they gave us Apple Vision Pro, and fair enough, they did, and that is an amazing, amazing device. Will I get one? Probably not unless this channel really takes off, and if you want me to get one, help me, and I will willingly get it and test it for you. Yeah, sure, that was absolutely fantastic. They blew everything out of the park with that device. I know we haven't got it yet, but I'm sure it's going to be amazing. And that is what they should do. Now, clearly not every event can be something of that magnitude, but this event, it just missed the mark. And I'm not altogether sure why, but I think it's because they'd almost run out of ideas. It's a shame. Apple are the best at what they do. They know how to deliver. I love what they do, but they just seem to have got a little bit lost in their way at the moment. But look, it might just be me. It might be I'm coming down hard on Apple. Try not to hate me too much in the comments if that's what you do believe, but get involved. Let me know. In the run-up to the event, how did you feel? Have the rumours, have all the leaks ruined it for you? Do you avoid them if you can? Do you try to avoid them in the run-up to the events? It's virtually impossible to do, I would have thought, because they start so early. Do you enjoy knowing what you're going to get? Let me know. I don't know if it's me. I'd just like to get an opinion of how you feel these events, and the pre-recorded events as well, as beautiful as they are. And they are stunning. And I'm a man that loves perfection. I try every video that I make here to make it that little bit better for you. but they're too perfect now. That's really hard for me to say. That's why I stopped, because I love and admire perfection, but it was almost too perfect with these events now. I just need a little bit of human interaction. I'd love to hear the crowd disapproval at prices, or woos and ahs when something new's announced. Not there was a lot they would have wooed and ahed at in this event, I grant you. But you know what I mean? You get that live feeling, you get that interaction, you get the feedback. Even if we're not there, you get the feedback. And again, I was lucky enough to make contact with somebody in the UK at Apple, at head office earlier this year, and they promised me all kinds of things they might be doing, and I haven't heard a single word from them. Now, look, I know I'm a tiny creator, but if they want to look after the creators that are going to be making videos for the next year and coming through, it wouldn't have hurt them to throw some sort of event at one of their London stores and got some UK creators together and gathered us together to get live reactions to what was going on at Cupertino. It would have been such a neat, again, creative idea, but they just missed the mark at it. Maybe they got it too good. Maybe being the biggest and richest company in the world, they've just gone a little bit soft. I don't know. Let me know. All I can tell you is that my 15 Pro Max is on order. I will be reviewing it over the next couple of weeks here on the channel, but I'm not going to rush. I want to give you genuine, honest information. So if you're thinking of buying one of those phones, I've tested it properly and let you know exactly how it seems and how it is to use. But I just wanted to make this video and see what you thought. Let me know your thoughts on the Apple events and what you make of them. And thank you for sticking with me. Thank you for watching. I'll be really interested to know what your feedback is. I look forward to hearing from you soon. Just go easy on me. Take care. See you soon.